Hello. Oh my God. I am loving both angles that we have going on today, on this afternoon. I know that it's 2 in the afternoon here, but hopefully some of the girls. Hi. Hello, my love. How are you? I have not talked to you in forever. How are you doing? How are you? Okay. Oh my goodness, we're going to take some deep breaths. How are y'all doing? Hope you guys are doing good. I'm excited to be back with another week ahead video, finally. Not finally in a judgmental way, but finally in a way of like, you guys, I have not had any energy to go live at all. Hi, my love. Please tell me, how are you? How have you been? What have you been up to? Tell me your life story. I miss you so much. We have not talked in forever. Hello, my love. Hello. Hi. Mwah, mwah, mwah. It is so good to see you. I'm so happy you could join. Hi, how are you? Hello on YouTube. If you guys want to comment in the live chat, that you can. If not, that's okay. We're going to get started momentarily. I have been taking some time to process my feelings. And one of the things today, I'm going to share just a couple shifts that I've moved through before we get into the message. Spirit's like it's going to help. So awesome sauce. I'm really excited about that. And I just got a comment on my nails, so I forgot what I was talking about. But thank you so much. Oh my God, aren't they so cute? I got the unicorn dust. Oh, I have two hands so I can show you guys. I got the unicorn dust on top of them, so they're giving iridescence. Okay, like my skin, they're just glowing. Everything on me glows. So I'm feeling good. How are you? How are you doing? I hope that you're doing good. Okay, so couple of shifts that I have been going through, moving, experiencing. Okay, this is the one that's going to be the most relevant for us this week. They're saying pressure. So I have been feeling under this huge amount of pressure. And this pressure that I've been putting on myself is not pressure from most recent things. So for me, this pressure manifested as a feeling of pressure on myself in terms of taking care of bills. When I was in college, I manifested jobs and I manifested a lot of money, and it was really, really easy for me. I just was kind of like, I really want a job, I really want to work, and then they just kind of wouldn't stop coming. And so it was really easy for me to manifest money because in college, money was, of course, an important thing that I used to get my desire, but I didn't have to get money in order to survive. I was getting money and I was buying clothes and I was going shopping and I was having a good time. You know what I mean? I was just living life. And so when I left college and established this business and now, moved back home with my mom, all of that good stuff, this huge amount of pressure, all of a sudden, oh, hold on, the mic is kind of far away. Hello, Star. How are you, my love? How are you doing? So left college, come back home, and establishing a business. And now I am the person who is 100% depending on me to survive. I am now the person who is 100% depending on me to get my own needs met. And so this pressure just became a lot more noticeable for me. And so I've been working through this for the past several years, my relationship with responsibility, because of this huge amount of pressure. And what I've realized recently is a couple different things of how this pressure has always been consistent in my life. Because what I've been doing is I recognize that I've got this huge level of stress. There is this stress, this kind of feeling of impending doom, where it's kind of like, if you don't make this amount of money, if you don't, hit this marker, if you don't experience this, then there is this huge, terrible thing that is waiting for you in the future. And so as you're wanting to really release those feelings and work through it and get to the root of it, you ask your inner being, what's up, y'all? You ask your inner being to guide you. Okay. I want to know. I want the memories. I want to understand where the root of this pressure comes from. And so the first memories that came to my mind were in high school. In high school, there are these, at least my experience, there is this pressure that is being put on these students, that is being put on children, the pressure of the rest of their lives, the pressure that you experience in schooling as it relates to your grades, and your grades meaning something about you, your grades either meaning that you are a good person, a good student, smart, aka worthy of love, or you're getting bad grades, you're a bad person, you're a delinquent, you're lazy, you're all of these terrible, horrible things. Hi. So what I realized was that this pressure I was putting on myself, I remember when I was in high school, I'd gotten a D in an English class. All of my worst grades were in the classes that were easiest for me, and we won't even get into why, but it just makes sense, right? So I'd gotten a D in my second semester, freshman year of high school English course. And so I was going again another year. It was an honors English course because I wanted to go to college and advance, trying to prove myself, right? So the very first day of class, in that English class, our teacher sits us down. Oh my God, do you ever think about some stuff and you're like, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I wasn't the version of me that I am today when that happened, because if that had happened when I was the version of me that I am today, it would have been a very different story. And I'm happy we let God fix it, because if I fixed it, I would have been in jail. But anyway, so we were in class. It was the very first day of class, and this teacher was talking. She was talking about college. She was talking to us about our future. And this was, in her mind, in her perception, she was helping us. She was giving us a motivational speech. And she was talking about the fact that your grades are so important when you're applying to UCs, the University of California schools. I live in California, and they act like those are the only colleges that exist. So they were like, the requirements for you to be able to apply to a UC, if you apply to a UC and you have 1D or 1F on your transcripts, then they're going to throw your transcripts in the trash. They're going to throw your application away. The second that they see that you have a D or an F on your transcript, it's going to go in the trash. And I remember just sitting there in that classroom, and I was horrified. I had gotten a D in a class that I could have so easily gotten an A++ in. I'd gotten a D in this class at 14, 15 years old. No, I wasn't 15 yet. I don't know how old I was. Anyway, early teens. And this woman is sitting here further putting me under the impression that because I had made mistakes, which we'll talk a little bit more about self-sabotage and stuff tonight, I'm going to be live on Clubhouse, links in this description on YouTube, also in the bio on my Instagram. If you want to come and chat with me tonight, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're talking all about self-sabotage on Clubhouse, and it's going to be free coaching, and we're going to be able to chat with each other, and I'm very excited about it. So please, somebody come hang out with me. Okay, so anyway, so she's sitting and she's talking to us. They're going to throw your applications in the trash. And that was one of the biggest memories that came to me of, why do you have this pressure on yourself? I put this pressure on myself to perform well academically, because I thought that if I didn't perform well academically, then I wouldn't have a future. I thought that if I didn't perform well academically, that my future was ruined before it had even started. And so then, as I was looking back on these memories and having this conversation and cussing, because that is the biggest pile of shit that I ever heard in my life, biggest, worst advice ever in life. I really want to send that woman a strongly worded email, but I won't. It served my growth and my purpose, so we're here. I was thinking about that experience, and I was thinking about, okay, you've been putting on this pressure on yourself to perform well. Why are you putting so much pressure on yourself to perform so well and go to a good college and all this good stuff? I'm the person who has always had a plan for her life. Ever since I was 4 years old, you ask me, what do I want to be when I grow up? I'm either going to say a lawyer, a pediatrician, or an actress, and I'm going to go to Harvard Law School. Like, that was just her life. So as I'm diving deeper into this, I realize the reason why I wanted to perform so well academically, that I was fighting so hard to prove myself, was another memory back when I was a child. And I had experienced so many different types of abuse, right? Just, And I remember one night I was kind of having those moments where you're just like, I'm going to run away. I'm going to run away from my house. Oh my God, I'm not going to start crying. I may start crying. What? I do not know I do not know what Instagram is doing. Instagram is glitching. Am I still live, you guys? They're saying we limit how many times we allow people to do certain things on Instagram to protect our community. No. Oh my God. Is Mercury getting ready to go retrograde or something? No. Oh my God. Okay. I'm good? Okay, perfect. Then I'm just going to go. No. Okay. I'm thinking, should I cut this off and then I don't want to spend my time doing this. Okay, anyway, you say that I'm good. Oh, no. Okay, hold on. I'm going to click off of Instagram and then I'm going to click back on, and because I'm not going to deal with this. Okay, hold on. Thank y'all for letting me know that I'm still here, but I'm going to end this live and then come right back. Oh my God. How upsetting. Hold on. Oh my goodness gracious. When you're obsessed with your aesthetics, you can't just post it and create another one. You have to create the thing for your Instagram. It has taken me so long to get my Instagram aesthetic to look the way that it does, y'all, and I will not. I will not allow Instagram's glitches to fuck this up for me. Give me a second. I'm looking for my titles on Canva. How are you guys doing on YouTube? I hope you guys are doing good. Love that for us. We get to the point Nathalie's about to start crying, and then suddenly a technological glitch. Thank you. Thank you. Not that there's anything wrong with being emotional. It was just, I was getting a little emotional a little quick. You know what I'm saying? Okay. 1 second. We're sending things to me on Instagram. I mean, I'm sending things to my son. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Okay, it's going. It's going. Yo, hope you guys are doing good. Good. You're doing good. Good. I'm so happy that you're doing good. I am so happy to hear that you are doing good. That makes me so happy. Okay. All right. Instagram. I do not want to go live and deal with that again, but we're just going to try it. We're just going to go. We're just going to go. We're just going to go. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. I'm back. Oh my God. This is about to piss me off. I'm not going to get mad. I'm just going to get hot, physically hot under these goddamn lights. This message is not meant to be this long. Oh my God. OMG. Okay. Okay. We're just going to do this and we're just going to hope that the screen doesn't go black. And I'm just going to pray that God is handling it on Instagram. And if you guys want this with us not having to fight all of this stuff, then come to my YouTube channel. Oh my God. It's glitching so hard. I'm so annoyed. I'm not going live again. Okay, whatever. Go on Instagram if you don't want to deal with this because we have to finish this message. So I was like maybe 4, 5 years old. And I was like, okay, I'm giving up. I'm going to run away. So I decided that I'm going to run away. And I remember I had this little suitcase and I got this little suitcase packed and oh my God. And I was leaving my house and I had my little suitcase. It was like the middle of the night, like it was dark outside. And it was the middle of the night, and I remember I was walking away from my house. There were like steps to get down to my front door. And so I walked up the steps, was walking on the sidewalk, was walking towards there. And then I just had this thought to myself, like, where am I going to go? And there was nowhere. I had nowhere that I could go to get away from everything that I was experiencing at home. I didn't have anybody that I could call. And so I remember I was thinking about, just like different friends that I have, them coming to mind. I'm like, I can't go stay with my friend. I'm like, I don't think it was like 4 years old. I think it was like 5 to like 8 years old. You know what I mean? And I'm like, no, I can't go stay with my friend Heidi because her mom's a bitch. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, I don't have anywhere to go. And so I remember I really struggled with that. I really struggled with that feeling of not having anywhere to go and just really feeling incredibly unsafe. And so I remember that was one of the moments in my life that I didn't even realize until that memory came up as I started doing this work. That memory, that moment in time. Oh, I'm so happy that everybody's been having problems with lives today. Thank you for letting me know that. So I focused on being a very career oriented person. I focused on always trying to work towards some sort of goal, work towards some sort of independence so that I would not have to rely on my family. The only reason why I was connected to my family was because without them, I will literally die. It was either live in your house with your family or live on the streets and get kidnapped and never eat again. And I still was sitting and struggling with trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to do next. Jesus Christ. And I was thinking about different memories and all of this good stuff. And another memory that had come up was I remember I was in this store. It was called Stater Brothers. And they still exist to this day, I think. I just don't live in the area. Anyway, so I was in the Stater Brothers with my mom. And, you know, as a kid, you just kind of go and you explore different things. And I remember I was moving around in the store and my mom had actually, she had like wandered off or whatever. And then I remember in those memories and those experiences, really feeling really scared when I actually lost my mom and having to go to the front of the store to basically, you know, get them to call my mom. And then I realized that the biggest fear that I had in those experiences was that if I didn't find my mom, then I was going to get left at the store. And so what that tells me was that my perception of my role within the family was that I was disposable and that I was worthless and that nobody would bother to come looking for me, that they would just leave me at the grocery store, that it was my responsibility to find and locate my mom so that I could go home. Otherwise, you're at Stater Brothers until closing, which is like really devastating and all of this good stuff, right? And so I just recognize that this pressure that I have put on myself, this pressure that I feel, this stress that I feel is actually this stress and pressure that I have been put under because I've had to take care of myself for all of my life. And this is our reality as children of emotionally immature parents. When your parents are not there for you emotionally, when your parents are not consoling you, when your parents are not teaching you how to process your emotions, when you cannot depend on your parents to take care of you, and so you have to depend on yourself as a child to take care of you and to make sure that you are safe, that is such a huge amount of pressure to put on a child. That is a huge amount of pressure that you've put on yourself to take care of you and to make sure that your needs are met. And so this pressure that we experience and this pressure that we've been putting on ourselves for all of our lives has this really, really intense impact as we have conversations about the responsibilities that we have, like paying bills, having to work with money and different things like that. The responsibility, our relationship with responsibility and our beliefs about our own capability, our capacity to learn how to handle things in life, it's so negatively impacted. And so this week, we are just focusing on relieving. Jesus Christ. Hi, Lily. I have a cousin named Lily. I don't like her, though. Not saying that I don't like you. I'm so sorry. That's not what I meant at all. I meant I have a cousin who is named Lily, and I'm not judging you because you have the same name as her. It's not really her name. It's a nickname that I gave her. Anyway, thank you for laughing. How are you? I hope you're doing good. So, basically, this week we're working on a relationship with responsibility and this amount of pressure that we put on ourselves. I realize that I have this response. The Hermit is the first card that's coming out. I have this response to my trauma and my pain and my fear to hide away and to go, oh, Jesus Christ, and to go within myself. And it leads into kind of like that Piscean escapism, all of that good stuff. And it's because nobody ever taught me how to deal with emotions like fear. Nobody ever taught me how to process emotions like wondering whether or not I am capable of doing something. Because these questions that we have when we question our capability, that's normal. That's a normal human experience. But the difference between somebody who is insecure and anxious and who isn't confident in themselves and the person who is confident in themselves and their ability to perform kind of overall and in general in their life, the difference between those two people is that only one of those people have the relationship with their parents or the relationship with an authority figure wherein that person was attuning to them and helping them and teaching them to process those emotions and giving them that positive feedback, right? It really is the what is it called? The impact of having somebody outside of you just telling you that you can do it. And so I was having a conversation with one of my clients this past week, and we were having a conversation, and she was discussing this anxiety that she's been feeling about stepping up into this new level, this new position in her career. And the anxiety that she was feeling was, what if I can't do it? What if I'm not good enough? And what I said to her was, this is based on this idea that you're thinking that you're supposed to show up and be an expert. Hi, Trinity. How are you, my love? You're showing up and you're expecting yourself to be an expert at life, an expert at everything without anyone having to teach you. And that's an unrealistic expectation. And that was an unrealistic expectation that was put on you in your childhood. It was an unrealistic expectation that was put on you in your childhood because you grew up with parents who were emotionally immature and who expected you to know how to attune to them, who maybe even expected you to know how to soothe them, to take care of them. You were never taught how to process your emotions. And so when you experienced emotions, when you acted out in certain ways, when you were just trying to get your needs met, you were met with a lot of ridicule, judgment, shame, rejection, all of that good stuff, because your parents didn't know how to handle it either. And so you're really putting this pressure on yourself not to make mistakes because you're under the impression that if you make mistakes, there's going to be some really huge, dire consequence. And in your childhood, that was true. If you were not the person watching yourself and taking care of yourself, maybe there would have been huge, intense, dire consequences. And so really what we're focusing on this week is becoming more aware of the fact that with the karmic soul family card coming out here, that we need people. That you need people, that there's not anything inherently wrong with you just because you need people. You need love and connection. You need empathy, and there's nothing wrong with you for that. With the energy of the Four of Cups, this week we're really addressing our deeply rooted feelings of worthlessness. And these deeply rooted feelings, these deeply rooted feelings of worthlessness and not feeling worthy of getting your needs met, not feeling worthy of getting love. It comes from the fact that you didn't get that emotional closeness, that consistency, that feeling of emotional safety and security in your own childhood. And so now these are just the things that you're learning to do in your adulthood. So overall, Yes, worth. My self-worth is low. Yes, I'm needing people, but also I find it hard to regulate yourself or to regulate with another person. Regardless, of course, you would find that hard and would find that difficult because that's not something that you experienced in your childhood. And so it's so interesting sometimes when we will have these conversations or we will be, talking about ourselves, and we will really be so kind of hard on ourselves when we have difficulty kind of doing these things that to the rest of the world are basic things, but it's not something that you were taught. And so it's so okay and normal and expected for you to have difficulty regulating yourself, your own emotions, or even your emotions in relation to other people. Um, that's how you learn to succeed. Yes, absolutely. One of my favorite quotes right now is "You fail your way to success." That's like I keep saying that over and over and over again. This idea of failing, for those of you who are experiencing a fear of failure, what you want to get into is what happens after you fail. What happens when you fail? And it's usually, if I fail, I'm not going to be worthy of love. If I make a mistake, I'm not going to be worthy of love. And so then underneath all of that is not feeling worthy of love. Your feelings of self worth are developed in your childhood, and you develop a feeling of worthiness, knowing that you are worthy of love, knowing that you are worthy of being taken care of. That's literally developed when you're a child, when you're a baby, when you're crying and asking for help, and somebody comes and helps you and actually soothes you. A lot of you didn't have that. A lot of us didn't have that intimacy and closeness and attunement in our childhoods. And so, how can you feel worthy of love when nobody has ever shown you love? And so, that's the journey that you're on. You're on the journey of learning and developing, establishing a sense of self worth. You are establishing a relationship between yourself and worthiness. I was told a couple of years ago that allowing in more money was the same thing as allowing in more love. And I didn't understand that until recently, when I realized that allowing in more money, allowing myself to receive more, is literally allowing myself to be taken care of. It's literally allowing myself to be taken care of. It's allowing myself to get my needs met. And so when you have difficulty allowing in more, it's because there's an aspect of you that's like, no, I don't deserve more. I don't deserve to get my needs met because I've never experienced that before. Okay. Anything else coming? I'm going to continue to read our comments as we move along. We have the inner strength, the shadow, and the star seed. Okay, so last messages that are coming through for the collective this week with the Hierophant at the bottom of the deck. Your inner strength. Some of you believe that there's something inherently wrong with you because you were raised in an environment where your emotional needs were not met because your parents did not have the capacity to meet your emotional needs, and instead they shamed you and made you feel bad for having emotional needs, or for some reason you felt guilty surrounding having emotional needs. And there's something happening in your childhood, and basically the story that you're telling yourself is that I'm too needy, I need too much. And that's not true. You were just raised by people who didn't have the capacity to meet your own needs. As you're healing and you're developing a greater relationship with yourself, reparenting yourself, learning to take care of yourself, is you showing up and learning how to figure out what your needs are and figuring out how to meet your own needs. And as you do that more and more, you establish a greater feeling of safety and security and trust between you and yourself. The message that's coming through from the universe here is that there's not anything inherently wrong with you. Your affirmation, one of the affirmations from my affirmation oracle, you can buy that using the link in the description or on Instagram if y'all are even still there. I'm just realizing, I'm learning more and more each day that there's nothing inherently wrong with me. You're not inherently flawed just because you have emotional needs. You're not inherently flawed just because you are emotional. You're not inherently flawed just because you were birthed, just because you were born into a family of people who had already become desensitized and cold and detached from the aspects of them that had emotional needs with the energy of the star seed. That's a really, really important message for those of you who resonate with being star seeds and the idea that you're not from here. There's nothing wrong with resonating and, being in touch with extraterrestrial and all of that good stuff, because that's very real reality. But underneath what needs to be addressed, this belief system and idea that you are not from here and you're a star seed and you just don't identify with humanity, that's because at your core you feel rejected. You feel rejected from your family, and natural, just human nature, when we feel like we're rejected, then we reject people back. And so you have rejected humanity as a whole because you felt rejected and you feel rejected at your core. And so this week you also really want to work through those core wounds, that core feeling of unworthiness, that core feeling of being rejected, starting to make friends with your emotions because they don't hinder you, especially not as you learn to process them and feel them. Okay, y'all? That's really all that we have coming up for the week ahead. I'm going to read a couple more of the comments, so we'll get through that. If y'all want to come and connect with me, I'm going to be on Clubhouse tonight, 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're doing coaching. We're talking all about self-sabotage and working through patterns of self-sabotage. The link is in the description on YouTube and in my bio on Instagram. And I'm going to end this live on Instagram now. This is like ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This notification has been going on Instagram this entire time that I'm talking. There's like 100 notifications here. Oh my God. But I do not want to lose this video, but I'm kind of also okay if I lose this video because it will be on YouTube. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to click out of this because I'm not moving through that shit. So everybody who wants to see the rest of it can just come to YouTube because fuck all of that. So, okay. Feeling like my worth is low because I'm fat. Do you know, actually? No, I don't want to say actually. It's really, really interesting how mm, okay, good. That's what we will say. That for those of you who are having trouble with your body image and your relationship with your body, you don't need to use your physical body as an excuse to pinch yourself off from your inner being, which means your physical body is not the reason that you're unworthy of love. Your physical body isn't the reason that you're unworthy of love, because technically there's no such thing as being unworthy of love. And it's still an unworthiness issue. And so a lot of people who are fat will have like weight loss surgery and all of that, and then will still have issues and problems and trauma because your problem and your issue is not with your body, it's with your relationship with yourself, it's with your sense of self-worth and deserving. And so we kind of tend to look for things about us, even when it's coming from our parents and things like that, you know what I mean, that are the reason to why we're unworthy of love. Your relationship with your body is a natural consequence of your childhood and your upbringing. So of course I would say love yourself. I have a whole post on my Instagram for that. I have a whole post on my Instagram for just like working with yourself, loving your body, radical self acceptance of where you are now. Um, but yes, it's literally more focused on, not more focused on, you want to fix all of that. You want to fix allowing yourself to receive money and allowing in love regardless of what your physical body looks like. You want to focus really heavily on learning how to love and accept yourself. For you, Aya, is that how you pronounce your name? For you, what it feels like is you're rejecting your physical body so hard, and whatever you resist persists. You want to get deeper into your own history and your relationship with food. Um, yes, yes, we will do that because there's something inherently wrong with me story comes from, what is that? There's something inherently wrong with me story. I thought that there was something inherently wrong with me when I was a child because I'm fat. And I just thought that I was just fat. That's just how life is. But what actually was happening was everybody in my life was telling me the worst thing you can do that's going to make you unworthy of love is become fat. I wasn't actually getting any love from them. And I was focusing on that fear. And so that's what manifested. But in order to avoid that, I was starving myself and not eating. And so when you starve yourself, you gain a lot of weight. And so that's my relationship with my body and fatness and all of that good stuff. At the bottom of that is feeling unworthy. Tell me if that helped. Tell me if that helped. Tell me if you have questions about that. Allowing in more love. It's like you weren't getting love before you were fat. And so you being fat is not the reason that you're not getting love, and you losing weight or changing your physical body will not be the reason that you allow yourself to receive love. That's what I mean. Let me not even get started on my dad leaving and my romantic love depleted by my unconditional love for my father. Trinity, I would say to work on your storytelling there, because your relationship with your dad is definitely impacting your love relationships. But we wouldn't say that the reason your romantic love is depleted is because of your unconditional love for your father. It's, I want to say, deeper and more multi-layered, and it also has to do with your relationship with your mother as well. So there's a couple different reasons why. If I were you, I would start getting more open to receiving, um, open to telling yourself um, new stories. Okay, if you want to work through that, we can too. If you're still here, aspects that feel unworthy. Getting through it sucks and is hard. If you want more help, Trinity, then come work with me because that's the work that I do. I'm not flawed because of my experience. Exactly. Yes. I'm here still. Okay, perfect. Do you want to talk about a little bit of the dad stuff while we're here? I'm super down. You want some shifts? Why not? So we're going to get off of here soon anyway. If anybody else, ghost watching, would like some shifts or some coaching. Okay, awesome. So tell me, what is the problem that you're having in love? So weird not having claws. They're so gorgeous. It's giving mermaid. It's giving rainbow fish. I'm having issues with men that leave and player energy. Perfect. So you attract emotionally unavailable partners. You're also emotionally unavailable. You're emotionally unavailable, and it could be because, okay, so Trinity, your scope right now is, first of all, there's nothing wrong with how you perceive your father's persona. It absolutely is true. And these energies are, they are lining up in this way. Going deeper, looking at it in a different way, maybe a little bit more broad scope, is you're attracting men who are emotionally unavailable because you're emotionally unavailable. You are telling yourself the story. You are telling yourself the story that everyone who loves you leaves you, but they're saying you perceived your father to have been gone before he actually left. And so this break in the bond that you experienced between you and your father was maybe earlier than you perceive it to be. So, men that leave and player energy, tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're thinking, what's going through your mind. Because there's also this story that you're telling yourself is that nobody's ever going to love you. It's kind of interesting because you are seeing the cycle and you're seeing, I attract these partners who are like my father, but there kind of feels like that's where it's kind of starting and stopping. Recently, it has been men that are emotionally available, or it seems that they aren't going anywhere in their life. Okay, well, I'm confused. Okay, I would say, okay. Ooh, Trinity, there are actually a couple of things. I would love to, dude, I think that you should come and join me on Clubhouse so that we can actually talk and have a conversation because there's a lot of different kind of scattered things that are going on. So, Trinity, your biggest thing right now is your self awareness is kind of getting in your own way because you're saying, I have this problem, and the reason that I have this problem is because of this. But your because of this thing is not something that is, it's almost not something that you are allowing to change. Let me give you an example. If you were, okay, I'm working to become more emotionally available and to establish a greater sense of self worth. It's not that you're too focused, it's that you are, I can't think of the word. It's literally just you want to change and shift the way that you're talking about your love relationships because it's a little bit of the, oh, okay, good. This is really, really good. The word that's coming through is like diagnostic. So let's say this is just random example. I'm not talking about you or your experience right now. Just separate example to give us an example of what's going on here. So a lot of people will go to the therapist, psychologist, whatever. And when they go to the therapist, psychologist, they'll sit and they'll tell this person about their problems and everything that's going on that's wrong with them, right? And then the therapist or psychologist or whoever, the psychologist is going to respond to them and is going to say, you have depression. This is what's wrong with you. What we're realizing more and more is that labeling things as you have depression, like depression is the problem, is not helpful because depression is not really the problem. Depression is the symptom of something greater and something larger. And so what you're doing is very similar, Trinity, where if you were to sit and go, these are the problems that I'm having because of this, this all lines up with me having depression, I have depression. It's kind of like you're kind of stopping and capping yourself in terms of what it is that you will allow yourself to receive, or what it is that is possible for you to receive. So let's break down a couple of things. Number one, if you're emotionally unavailable, I don't even want to say if you're emotionally unavailable. This is just me tapping into your energy. You're not emotionally available. You don't have a relationship of intimacy between you and you. This is being able to identify your feelings, feel and process your feelings, communicate your feelings to others. So, number one, you're on the journey of developing a greater relationship with yourself. And you're also on the journey of learning to develop healthy relationships with other people. These are two things that you didn't get in your childhood. No big deal. Where you are right now, you're really good at identifying that you're emotionally unavailable and you have a low sense of self-worth. That's where you are. That's your starting point. That's now what you're working through and what you're moving through. And so the way that you want to talk about this when you're talking about the things that you're moving through is you don't want to say, it is a little bit of that law of attraction mindset. Watch what you say as you're speaking it into existence. You don't want to say, I have a low sense of self-worth and I'm emotionally unavailable, and that's why I always get this result. It's not opening it up to change. And so you've done an excellent job, a really, really good job identifying, okay, I see this relationship pattern that I'm in. You've done a really excellent job identifying I'm emotionally unavailable and I have a low sense of self-worth. That's awesome. I'm now more aware of my starting point. I'm very acutely aware of my starting point and what I am working through. And so now we no longer have to super hard claim I have a low sense of self-worth. Now when we're talking about our sense of self-worth and our sense of deserving, it's, oh, I'm just learning how to love myself. I'm learning how to love myself. You want to talk about it in the tense where it's getting better and it's improving. Okay, so I'm just learning how to love myself and I'm learning how to become more emotionally available. You're not going to become emotionally available with another person before you become emotionally available with yourself. And so I'm not saying that you should cut off dating or cut off other people, because to heal, you don't need to completely detach yourself from others. Like we talked about in today's session, you do need relationships with other people. But you do need a little bit more self-focus and a little bit more me time. Exercise you want to do every morning when you wake up, periodically, you want to ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? And you want to get the emotional guidance scale. I use the emotional guidance scale with my clients. I think it's just a great way. It's a list of emotions and there's only 22. And so you don't really get overwhelmed, but you get a really good range. Also, thank you guys for liking the video if this is resonating with you. You get a good range of emotions, and they're listed from bad feeling to good feeling, in the receptive mode to out of the receptive mode. Awesome. So you want to start working with the emotional guidance scale and asking yourself, how do I feel on this scale? Figuring out, okay, how am I feeling right now in general? It can be, how am I feeling about money? How am I feeling about love? How am I feeling about being worthy and deserving of love? You want to start working the emotional guidance scale. There's a video up on my YouTube from maybe like a couple of months back where I am working through the emotional guidance scale. And I think I did have a little breakdown while I was recording. So you got to see me kind of move up the emotional guidance scale. So that'll be a really good example. I also have an emotional guidance deck that would be really, really helpful to you. I mentioned my affirmation oracle earlier in this. My emotional guidance deck, it's linked in the description. It has affirmations to help you shift out, but that's not really what you want to use it for, although you can and you probably should in the future. But you would want to use that to shuffle and pull to identify, how am I feeling right now? You want to get a little bit more intimacy. A lot of us, when we don't have that intimacy with ourselves, when we haven't learned how to identify our emotions and explain how we feel to other people, to get my needs met or to get our needs met, we tend to just kind of say, that feels good or that feels bad. I didn't enjoy that or I did enjoy that. But when we can only identify things as being that felt bad or that felt good, at some point it stops being helpful, because what we really want to know is, I'm afraid right now versus I feel guilty right now. those are two completely different feelings. Neither of those feel good, but the way we're going to process those emotions are going to be a little bit different. The work that we're going to do with ourselves to move through the feelings of guilt versus fear, they're probably going to be a little bit different. So you want to start focusing on connecting with yourself and how do I feel, looking at a list and starting to associate and connect more with your own feelings, becoming more emotionally available. You want to start connecting and thinking about what was going on in my childhood. Good, good, awesome. If I'm nervous, instead of just I'm feeling nervous, I would be a little bit more specific. I would be a little bit more specific because that feeling of nervous could break down to a couple different things. Nervous could break down to I'm worried. Nervous could break down to I'm afraid. Nervous could break down to I don't feel safe. And then I would categorize that as fear. So it's like getting more into your feelings, having conversations with yourself about how it is that you feel, and then what's your worst case scenario, and then how do you feel in that worst case scenario. Okay. What else? Gotcha. I'm not dating. LOL. I stopped because I didn't like what I was attracting. This is all really, really great and really helpful. Awesome. What's going to help you attract better dates? This is going to help so much. I'm so happy that it is. What's going to help you to open up and start attracting better dates is, okay, universe, I am ready to become open to seeing that there is somebody out there who might want to love me. I am open to, okay, that's good. I'm becoming open to seeing that there's somebody out there who will love me. And then you also want to create your list. Instead of this is what I'm getting from the universe, you now want to focus being a little bit more proactive. Thank you guys for liking the video. This is what I want to experience, universe. And so you want to create that list and you want to focus it and base it on your feelings. And so the way that ooh, girl, sorry. I just got a text message with some tea. Oh no. Okay, I have to leave and be messy in a couple minutes. But anyway, so oh my God, please stop texting me. Focus. I'm here. Where are we? Yes. You want to create a list. You want to create a list of how you feel in your, ideal relationship. What is it that you're doing? I am going out on dates with my significant other. I cuddle a lot in bed with my significant other. When I feel sad, my significant other holds me, right? The way that your significant others, the way that the people that you are attracting treat you is a reflection of the way that you treat yourself. And so you can also, another exercise is you can start looking at how are these people treating me in ways that I don't like. Good for you, walking away, recognizing that you deserve to be treated better. So it's also giving yourself points and giving yourself kudos for the level of self-worth that you have to walk away from the people who aren't treating you right. And then to ask yourself, what is it about their energy that's resonating within me? If I'm having emotional needs and I'm needing to be loved, if I'm needing to be seen, if I'm needing more empathetic connection, and this person is not giving that to me, how am I not giving that to myself? Hi, Nora. Thank you. Thank you for that compliment. How am I not giving that to myself? And that's going to be a really good way for you to figure out, how do I need to be treating myself better? Because it's the same thing that you're going to do when you create that list. You're going to think about, this is the way that my ideal partner treats me. For me, it's husband. This is the way that my ideal husband treats me. You guys want to know? My ideal husband treats me like a princess, like a queen. Mwah. Compliments. So you know how I treat myself? Like a princess, like a queen. And my ideal husband is really, really protective over me. And so you know how I treat myself? Really, really protective over me. The way that you want your partner to love and care for you is now the way that you're going to love and care for yourself. If there was somebody, and it could be your ideal partner, it could be the big sister you never had, it could be the parent that you never had, because that's essentially what you're doing anyway in this exercise. You got to figure out, when I cry, when I need something, my ideal relationship, my husband, if I need something, it's a national fucking emergency. It's a national fucking emergency. That means When I call, everything stops. Everything stops. Why? Because I'm the number one priority, because my needs are important. And so that means in my life, whenever I need something, I'm the number one priority. I'm the number one priority in my life. When I need rest, I'm letting myself rest. If somebody else needs something from me, they're going to have to wait until I get the rest that I need, because I'm my number one priority. When my inner children are crying, when they need something, when I need to feel emotions, when I need to journal, when I need to take a step back, when I need to take a break, everything else in the world is on pause, because my needs are my number one priority and everything else in the world can wait. And so you really want to go through and create that list. And it can be deep stuff, like when I'm crying and I'm depressed, my ideal partner is holding me and caressing me and loving me and speaking life into me. And it can also be light things, like my ideal partner takes me out to dinners on the beach. I love dinners on the beach. And so what are you going to do? You're going to start taking yourself out to dinners on the beach. You also, if you want to start building intimacy with yourself, you want to look up questions to ask your significant other to build intimacy. And then you want to ask yourself the questions. And then just start playing with yourself and having more fun with yourself. You are getting the intimacy you want with yourself. This is also going to help you to establish a feeling of self, a concrete sense of self. And this is also going to help with your sense of self-worth. The more that you commit to showing up for yourself and taking care of yourself, because right now, if you don't know how to describe in detail how you are feeling, if you don't know how to describe in detail how you're feeling, then I guarantee you, you have emotional needs that are not being met because you're not attuned to yourself. And that's okay. No shame, no problem. You're learning how to identify your emotions so that you can learn to identify your emotional needs. When you learn how to meet your emotional needs in better feeling ways, the more that you show up and do that, that's what builds your sense of self-worth. Okay. Let me know if anybody watching has any questions, any more comments, Trinity. I know that we talked a little bit about dating. No, everything that I said, spot on, spot on. Start doing that, showing up for yourself, and every single day, attuning to yourself. How do I feel about love and relationships? How do you feel about the idea of there being love and relationships? At best, you feel a little bit, let me pull up my emotional guidance scale. How do you feel in love relationships? At best, you might feel a little bit of doubt, maybe a little bit of pessimism. I doubt that there's somebody out there who will be with me. Also, another thing that came through, when you're saying this person that I'm attracting is emotionally available, but isn't going somewhere in their life, if you're attracting people who aren't successful or who aren't ambitious in the same way that you are, in this case, it's coming from the fact that you believe that there's something about you that's inherently unlovable, unworthy of love. And so you can't attract the partner, or the partner who would be perfect for you is out of reach and they wouldn't love you because of that specific thing. And so you want to identify what is that thing, or what are those things. It could be that you think that you're too needy. It could be somebody else's experience that you think that you weigh too much. And those are the things that you want to start working on. And so you don't just want to say, I have issues with my self-worth. Developing that intimacy with yourself looks like actually naming, how do I feel about myself? Okay. If I'm having trouble with my self-worth, I feel unworthy of love because in my childhood this happened and that made me feel unworthy of love. Just feel very misunderstood. Misunderstood by a lot of people. Good, good. It's not good that you feel that way, but keep going if there's more to say. But I love this and I have the perfect response. Facts. We keep complaining that we get into relationships which are toxic and affect our self-worth. Well, have a list to guide you next time so you're not just carried away in the love bombing phase. That is uh that is a really helpful comment, Nora. I actually wasn't thinking about using the list in that way, but that also works perfectly. That also works perfectly, especially for those of us who are strengthening that default expectation of being treated well, if you can look at your partner, the person that you're seeing, their behavior, the way that they treat you, and the way that you want to be treated in a relationship, and if that's not aligning, recognize that you and that person are not compatible. Mwah, that is a beautiful way to use that. Thank you for adding that value, Nora. Okay. I just feel misunderstood by a lot of people in their perception of me, and they project their emotions onto me. Trinity, this is literally so perfect. The reason why you feel misunderstood by a lot of people, you don't feel seen, right? Let me just mirror back to you what you're saying. You're saying you feel misunderstood because you don't feel seen. You feel like you interact with people and they're not interacting with you at your core, but they're interacting with the version of you that they've created in their mind, or they're interacting with their idea of you. They're interacting with what they've projected onto you. Is that what you're saying? Yes, exactly. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I'm so happy that I'm hearing you and seeing you. So, first of all, in that, when you just told me that, I feel very misunderstood by a lot of people. And I responded and reflected back what I heard from you to confirm that I understood you and where you came from. Did you feel seen? Did you feel validated? Did you feel understood? I perceive that you felt understood because not only did you say yes, you said exactly. And so now you and I have this greater intimacy between us than we did before. And this interaction that we've just had, Trinity, that's what you're not getting in your everyday interactions, because that's not what you got in your childhood. Because you were raised by people who didn't have the capacity to do that, who didn't have the tools, didn't know how to build the healthy relationships. And so, of course, you feel misunderstood by people. People aren't seeing you. And in order to get people to see you, you have to see yourself. You saw yourself. You experienced intimacy with yourself. You sat with yourself just now and you realized, I feel misunderstood by people, da 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 da. By your own self-reflection, you saw yourself, you communicated that to me, and then I could see into you. That's intimacy. You want to have that in every single one of your relationships. And the way that you get that is by having that intimacy with yourself first. And that's why we're focusing over and over and over again on tapping into your emotions and tapping deeper into your own experience so that you can show up and learn to communicate that with others. Now, this does not mean that you have to understand how to identify every single one of your emotions in detail immediately and then go give that to other people. Because there's also inner children who don't feel safe communicating their needs because someone might yell at them, because they might have a million different responses. There's a million different ways that you could feel unsafe communicating your emotions to other people. And so I don't want you to get any too, not too high expectations of yourself, like you're not capable. But I don't want you to unfairly judge yourself and force yourself to be healed. It's okay that you're on a journey. It's okay that you're taking this day by day. It's okay that you're taking it step by step, because it looks like working on this and attuning to yourself and sitting with yourself and doing the journal prompt thing with yourself, having those conversations, building that intimacy with yourself day by day, 3 months from now, it's going to make such a huge difference. So you want to tend to that daily. Yes, you're absolutely right. People project onto you and they do not see you, because a lot of people, you're just going to recognize the more and more that you do this, the further along you go on your journey, you're going to recognize that people aren't seeing you. People aren't seeing themselves. We live in a world full of people who are emotionally immature. And it's not about shame or badness about being immature. It's just people who did not meet those psychological developmental markers because your parents aren't aware. This shit is new. Psychology, understanding emotions, all of this, the work that I'm doing now, this is really, really, really new. So not too much terribleness being put on the parents and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Okay, so Trinity, let me know. Do you have any other questions or any other insight? Anybody else watching, catching the replay, if you guys want some quick coaching, thank you for the amen, Nora. Then I can absolutely give that to you. Other than that, we're gonna get off. I wasn't planning on being here for an hour, but I liked that. I really enjoyed that, Trinity. I'm so grateful for you showing up and being vulnerable like that on the live. I really, really appreciate that. Yeah, I feel like that was really, really good. Really just the emotion of anger. Good. That's good. That's my favorite one. Anger is my favorite emotion. Anger is my favorite emotion. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you. Mwah. That feeling is so absolutely mutual. The emotion of anger is such a fun one to work out because I'm Mars ruled and I love violence. I do. And I really, really do because anger is something that is really, really villainized, right? But anger is such an amazing tool for us. Anger is the thing that tells us, anger is the emotion that communicates to us that our boundaries are being crossed. Anger communicates to us that we're unsafe, that we have a desire to protect ourselves. Anger communicates so much. Anger is beautiful. I'm so happy that you feel anger. And what you want to do with your anger is you want to feel it and you want to get crazy. Okay, hold on. Let me don't go burning down any houses. Let me explain what I want you to do. Oh my God. So, there's a couple different ways that you can feel and process your anger. My favorite way to feel and process anger is I like to cuss. And I like to have these moments, these energetic moments. You know, some people say you should write a letter, write a strongly worded letter and not send it. I like to write letters when it's kind of like a little bit sad. You know what I mean? When there's just a little bit like I'm so sad I'm writing about it. You know what I mean? When I'm feeling that, when I'm feeling anger, I don't like to write. I like to yell and I like to scream and I want to fight. And so instead of actually going and screaming and yelling and fighting with other people, you just want to do that random room. If you don't have a random room in your house, go to your car. If you don't have your car, go to the park. Go somewhere where there is nobody around and you just give it to them. Give it to the air. Picture them right there in front of you and just go crazy. Everything, everything. Get it out of your system. Feel it. And you don't half-ass this. Don't half-ass your anger. Don't, oh my God, I'm very mad at you. I'm so upset with you. No, you need to be full on screaming. We'll get to the feeling bad in a second. You need to be full on screaming, raging. I need you to be screaming so fucking loud, releasing all of that energy until you don't have a voice afterwards. Just fuck them up. Fuck them up. Feel your anger, process your anger. And then that aspect of you that feels guilty for being angry, I'm going to need a little bit of intimacy on this one. Because it could be you could feel guilty because you had, okay, they're saying the reason why you feel guilty after you get angry is something to do with, hold on, you're a child, you feel mad, you feel angry. You don't think that your anger is justified because the people who abused you, the adults who abused you, the people who hurt you in your childhood didn't say that what they were doing was abuse. And so your anger doesn't feel justified. You feel angry and then you want to hurt people, but then you've been taught socialization that anger and hurting people is bad. And so what you need, Trinity, is validation. Of course you're angry. Of course you're mad. Of course you're angry and of course you're mad. Of course you're so pissed. Of course you're so upset. because this person neglected you, because they left you, because they hurt your feelings, because they didn't love you, because nobody in your family saw you, because nobody ever took the time to get to know you, get to know who you are as a person, as a soul, and your self-concept has been incredibly impacted by other people projecting their own bullshit onto you, of course you're mad. I was just cussing the other day because I grew up in an active gaslight situation where my emotional needs were not being met, but I got a lot of physical stuff. And so I grew up with people on the outside having the perception and projection onto me that I'm a spoiled brat who was never satisfied. In reality, I have this inner children and this deep-seated fear of worthlessness because I've never gotten my emotional needs met. I've never felt safe. I am just now at 22 years old, learning and establishing an environment, a feeling of safety and security for myself for the first time in my life. And then you have people on the outside of you, people in your family, with the audacity to tell you that you're a spoiled brat. People who I've never fucking met before telling me about myself and my life experience because of a designer bag. Oh, it makes me want to fight. Oh, it makes me want to fight. If you ever call me a spoiled brat, count your fucking days. I'm joking. I processed that already. I already cussed y'all out already. Recognizing, of course you're angry. That's a gaslight. People have been projecting into your entire life. You've never been seen. No intimacy whatsoever. You feel lonely. You feel deserted. You feel neglected. You feel hurt. You feel in so much pain. Feel all of that. Of course you feel mad. Of course you feel angry. Where were the parents? Where were the people who you have this unspoken agreement with that they would protect you and show up for you and shield you and meet your needs? Where were you? And why were you the person who was betraying me? All of that. Of course that makes you angry. Of course that pisses you off. You get to be angry. You get to be mad. Feel your anger and then feel and begin to process that guilt as well. It's okay to feel guilty. It's okay to feel guilty. It's natural and it's normal for you to feel guilty. And instead of pushing these emotions away, you want to pull them in closer. You want to feel them. You want to move through them. If you're feeling guilty, then maybe you want to cry. Why are you feeling guilty? What do you feel guilty for? Do you want to answer that now? Do you feel guilty because you think that you owe these people, that you're mad at something? You think that you owe them happiness? Do you feel guilty because you being angry goes against the role that you've been cast to play in your family as the happy person? Girl, I'm already crying. Yay! Mwah! I'm sending you so much love and so many virtual hugs. Good for you. Crying is good. Crying is an energy shift. Because I know that people do the best that they can. Okay, so what you're doing is you're an internalizer. You're somebody who internalizes a lot of this. You're taking on the emotional responsibility of everyone onto your shoulders. You experienced that role reversal in your childhood where you took responsibility for your parents' emotions. Cussing is so therapeutic. Cussing is my favorite pastime. You're taking on the responsibility of other people's emotions. And you've learned that in order to get love and connection, you have to sacrifice yourself. Oh, Trinity, I have been on here for an hour and 13 minutes, and I'm going to get off of here in a couple of minutes. I've never met somebody who I wanted to work one-on-one with before. Like, I've met somebody I wanted to work one-on-one with before. I want to work with you one-on-one so freaking badly because this is layers. We're getting somewhere, but it's not that we're not getting anywhere. We're getting somewhere. You want to watch this video on re-freaking-Pete. Oh my goodness gracious. DM me and let's talk about working together and getting this because I can help you shift out of all of this. But what we're doing now, you know that people do the best that they can. You're putting everyone above you. Everyone above you. You feel angry. Underneath your anger is sadness, is all of these bad feelings. But you prioritize other people and sacrifice yourself so that you can get love. But you're actually never getting love from these people. I'm trying to think of what is the thing? I know that people do the best that they can. You are so kind and you are so compassionate and you are so sweet and you are so understanding and you're giving that energy to everyone except for yourself. You're giving that to everyone except for yourself. And so learning to show up with compassion and kindness with yourself looks like allowing yourself to feel your anger that is so justified and allowing yourself to feel your emotions and growing and learning to mature emotionally looks like recognizing that you can love people and be mad at them at the same time. You can understand why they did what they did and still be angry at the same time. These emotions can coexist. And so you're not betraying anyone by feeling your anger. You're not betraying anyone by feeling your bad feeling emotions because your anger is so justified. You deserve to feel angry and you deserve to feel sad and you deserve to feel upset. And they are doing the absolute best that they can. And the absolute best that they can is abusive and neglectful and hurtful to you. And that doesn't mean that they don't deserve love. And that doesn't mean that they don't deserve compassion. But it means that you get to feel how you feel over here. And then after you feel all of your feelings and after you feel all of the rage and after you feel all of the everything, when you're settled, when you're feeling better, that's when you get into and I understand that they were doing the best that they can. Because right now, you're not allowing yourself to feel anything. You're closing yourself off. You're telling yourself, no emotions, I can't feel you. Because then that would hurt this other person. It's not hurting them, it's just hurting you. So it's just becoming more open. This is a big part of becoming more emotionally available. You want to watch this a couple of times this week at least. You're just becoming more open to feeling your feelings because you're focusing on them and the fact that they're doing the best that they can because you think that you have to do that in order to be worthy of love, but you're ignoring your emotions. You're ignoring your emotional needs. It is an emotional need of yours to feel and express and process your anger. It is an emotional need, not an option. For you to be able to function, for you to be able to function at your highest, greatest capacity as a human being, for you to grow, it is an emotional need of yours to feel and process this anger. And so when we're attracting the emotionally unavailable partners who don't see us, who don't tend to us emotionally, that's what they're mirroring back to us. Because we don't see us and we don't tend to us emotionally, okay? Do you feel me on that one? Hello, Alondra, how are you? I feel guilty about not being better and not having made myself better. I am also just not giving myself what I deserve, just like those people. Do you mean those people like the people who didn't meet your needs, or do you mean those people like everybody else in the chat? Right, Nora. This is going to be on playback. I feel this, it resonates, and Spirit is not giving me another opportunity to not deal with this. This is the closing of this cycle. I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. Yes, play this back. DM me on Instagram. You can look at my, I have my coaching linked in the description. You can get more information, seeing a little bit of the coaching that I do, but this conversation that we just had is the coaching that I do. So just DM me on Instagram or email me. You can email me, Nathallie@nathhughes.com. There's also a contact through my website. Just get in contact with me and we will figure out a plan so that I can help you shift through this. Oh, because you're so ready, and it will be so, so easy. Okay. Parents and family, Alondra. Okay. I feel guilty about not being better and not having made myself better. So you grew up with the parent who, okay, Alondra, this is your message. There's nothing you can do to be worthy of unconditional love. There's nothing you can do to be worthy of unconditional love. And so you in your childhood were not getting unconditional love. And for whatever reason, whatever was going on, you internalized and got the perception that if you were better, if you were different than just who you were, awesome, I'll talk to you soon. If you were better, if you were different than just naturally who you are, you got the perception that then you would be worthy of unconditional love. Then you would be worthy of love from your family. And so you feel guilty for not being better. Guilt is when we feel bad because of somebody else. We feel bad based on the perception of someone else. I feel guilty. It's kind of like if I lie, then I feel guilty. I feel guilty because I've been told by somebody else that lying is bad. And so now I feel bad because somebody else told me that I feel bad. Or I feel guilty because I hurt somebody else's feelings and now their feelings are hurt and I feel guilty because their feelings are hurt. Moving through your feelings of guilt, my emotional guidance scale oracle, great for this. It's literally an affirmation that's helping me break this down. Moving through your feeling of guilt looks like realizing I don't have to feel bad on the behalf of somebody else. I don't have to feel bad just because somebody else feels bad. I don't have to feel bad about myself and about who I am just because somebody else doesn't appreciate that. So happy to have found your channel again. Thanks. Okay. I feel guilty about not being better. You're also telling yourself the story that you're not good enough. You're telling yourself the story that you're not good enough. You're doing enough. You're doing enough. You have to be doing something to be in alignment with me, Alondra. I'm going to be so honest. And I don't mean this in an egotistical way. I mean this about me energetically and the desires that I put out there to the universe and the fact that I sit and I specify that I'm a vibrational match. I align with people who highly value my gifts and what I bring to the table. And I'm an emotional coach and I'm somebody that helps people to heal and to grow and expand. And so if you're here on this journey of growth and expansion consciously enough to be aligned with me, to be having this conversation here, you're doing enough. And it is very likely that you're doing more than the people in your family have been doing, but that's okay. So you're also just slowing down that momentum. Affirmation work for you, Alondra, is I'm just slowing down the momentum that I have built up that I'm not doing enough. I'm just slowing down the momentum that I have built up of not being enough. And then as you do that more and more, I would say slow down that momentum for like 2 weeks. I would say that affirmation that I just said, I am just slowing down the momentum that I'm not doing enough. I'm just slowing down that momentum. I'm just allow yourself to say that with an exhale and just release. I'm just slowing down that momentum because you've been telling yourself that story for your entire life. So first you want to work on slowing down that momentum. They're saying, and then you want to just, okay, I'm allowing my inner being to gently guide me and my focus. Do you feel how, I don't know if you guys feel this, but it feels like the energy is like calm, relax. You need a lot of calm, relax, talking to yourself in a really loving, kind, compassionate, understanding way. I'm not giving myself what I deserve. I'm not giving myself enough, and that's okay. Showing up with more kindness and compassion. I feel guilty about not doing better, and that's okay. I feel like I'm not good enough, and that's okay. I feel terrible about myself, and that's okay. Of course, I feel terrible about myself. Of course, I'm not giving myself what I deserve. Of course, I'm in this cycle. It's 3:33. Of course, I'm living life like this. Because anybody who experienced what I experienced, anybody who had I'll answer that for you right now in a second, Nora. Anybody who had my childhood experience would have responded in this way, because we all did. Oh, it's 6:33 there. Love that. Where are you? East Coast, I'm assuming. Every single person, Alondra, the way that you're responding to this, the way that you're responding to trauma, feeling like you're not good enough, feeling guilty, all of this is textbook. Oh, love that for you. Oh my God. I'm not going to say anything. I love that. I wasn't going to say anything bad, but I was just going to tell too much of my own business. I love that for you. The way that you respond to your trauma is textbook, Alondra. And I don't mean to say it's textbook like you're not special, but I mean to say it's textbook like you're not special, like every single other person on the planet who experienced what you experienced, or a majority of them, because we respond in different ways, but the wounds are the same. They respond in this way. A majority of the collective, a huge chunk of people, there are people out there, me, one of them, who responded and feel the same exact way that you do. And so it's recognizing that you're not alone in the world just because you showed up, just because you have become this person as a natural consequence of your life experience. There's nothing wrong with you as to why you're feeling this way. You're already feeling bad. You're already having this huge trauma to deal with. You're already having to learn all of this developmental early life stuff now. You're already having to do all of that. And then on top of that, you're making yourself feel bad because you think that you should be something other than you're not. And that's not true. Right here, right now, the way that you responded, where you are, is perfect. It's amazing. It's great. You're literally doing such a good job. You're doing enough. And so if you want to focus on, I want to do more, I want to consciously do more, what is your desire? Do you want to consciously do more and see results? There's a couple different things that you want to set in place for yourself. Number one, you want to think about, who are you? Not who are you. You want to think about, where are you? Where are you now versus the very beginning of when you began healing? I think about me just doing this yesterday, me today versus me a year ago. Me a year ago had met with this woman who I perceive her to be very disrespectful and rude. And I didn't say anything and all of this other stuff. A year later, I've become the woman who is ready to cuss her out and is okay never speaking to her again because I consider her to be unprofessional and disrespectful and rude. That progress, that shift, and that change, being able to show up towards somebody who was a mentor to you, somebody who taught you, and recognizing, oh no, the way that you treat me is not okay, that's huge growth. That's a huge shift. So Alondra, you want to think about who you used to be versus who you are now. Alondra, I'm willing to bet that at some point in your life, you didn't even know that the cycles you were in were harmful. At some point in your life, you didn't even know. I mean, you knew because it didn't feel good, but you didn't even consciously know that the way your family was treating you was bad. At some point in your life, you thought that the way that your family was treating you was just normal life and was how everybody's family treated them and was how everybody felt and was everyone in the world's experience because that's all that you had exposure to. And so you have grown enough to be able to recognize the healing and growth that you need. And then to also be able to take action towards that, that's a lot of growth. That's a lot of shifts. To me, that's the person who I would perceive as putting in the energy and the work and the effort to heal. So that's one. And then 2, if it's, I feel like I'm not doing enough, maybe what you want is to be a little bit more focused in what it is that you are doing. Maybe you feel a little bit scattered. Maybe what you're doing is watching, different videos and things like that and not seeing any results. What you'd like is a routine. I think that might work. If your routine is, and this is what's worked for me, if your routine is doing my affirmations, I say affirmations every time I feel bad. I say affirmations every time I'm triggered. I say affirmations every morning at 10. I do this journaling. If you're showing up for yourself consistently, then you will see the results. And if you're showing up for yourself consistently and you're not seeing the results, then maybe you do need some more help, which is okay. And if you do need some more help, then maybe I'm the person who can help you, or there's somebody else out there that can help you. And you just ask your inner being, guide me to somebody who can help. I am going to be opening up a book club over the next month. I say it because, Alondra, that might be something that resonates with you. So I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, you can email me and we can talk about it. Because if you're feeling like you need to be doing something more, then maybe you're the person who wants to be more of that kind of self-healer, at least for now. And the book club is going to be something that's really, really good for people who are like that. Okay. That's what I got for you, Alondra. Tell me what's going through your mind right now if you have any other questions or comments. Star says, I feel all of this. I was a child performer from a young age, and my mom made me feel like a circus monkey. Sorry to hear that. Now I can't even perform or enjoy singing. It's been a long healing process. I'm happy that you are healing, Star, and I'm so sorry to hear about that experience. That's definitely really sad, especially if you enjoy performing and if you enjoy singing. Definitely what's coming through is just not having a sense of freedom or autonomy or ability to express yourself. That's so important. Being able to express yourself is so important. Okay, Nora's question. What does that mean, slowing down the momentum? Okay, so the momentum is the momentum that you have built up over a period of time. So it shows up in a couple different ways. Number one, our brains are natural storytellers. So what happens is you experience something and you have an association between what you've experienced and what that means in your brain. When you have another experience that's similar, different results, same sensation, same feeling, same story, those wires fire off in your brain again. This is the more that you tell yourself something, the more that you believe it. The more that you tell yourself something, the more that you think something over and over and over and over again, the neural pathways in your brain become stronger and stronger and stronger and quicker and quicker and quicker. It becomes subconscious. So when you have the momentum built up, it's because you've been telling yourself the same story over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And that neural pathway is stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. As you're starting to heal, starting with becoming more aware and slowing down that momentum, that's important, because becoming aware is one thing, but if you're doing nothing about it and you're still telling yourself that story, it's only becoming more and more difficult to slow that momentum down. So talking about momentum as if we were talking about a train, I like it better. Okay, fine. I like it better. A truck on a hill. If you had a truck on a hill and the truck was at the top of the hill and the truck was starting to go downhill and the truck has just started here, then it would be easier to stop the truck here versus if the truck is going, the longer the truck goes, the faster the truck is going to get the higher the momentum it's going to be, the harder it's going to be to stop the truck. So you want to slow down the momentum so that you can stop that truck, and then you can create a whole nother truck on a whole nother hill and build new momentum up of a new, better feeling story. You feel me? Book club sounds awesome. Yes, if any of you are interested in the book club that I'm going to be starting, you can email me. You can contact me through my website. You can DM me on Instagram. All of that good stuff is linked in the description box below. Also, I'm going to plug it again. I'm on Clubhouse tonight for more free coaching. All of this stuff that we're doing here, except it's going to be more of a talking back and forth. We're talking about self-sabotaging, understanding ourselves, getting more intimacy. I'm very, very excited for it. So come hang out with me. The link to the Clubhouse is in the description box below. I call it the autopilot mood. Oh, yes, it is also autopilot. Yes, I think a lot of people say that as well. Slow down in order to analyze and take control instead of falling into that same toxic thinking pattern. Love it. Interesting. I'm so taking this to heart and applying it because I've been doing this for so long. Good, good. I'm so happy that this is helpful to you, Nora. I'm so happy. If anybody wants to work with me one-on-one, this is the work that I do with my clients every single week with support in between because, oh, thank God, it's so important. This work is so fucking important. Are you going to have more of them? Yes. Yes, I will have more Clubhouse chats. I don't know if it's going to be once a week. It's probably going to be multiple times a week. I'm going to be honest. And I will just announce them periodically. They'll be announced on my YouTube channel. If you go onto the Clubhouse app and you create an account, you can follow me and you can set up notifications. So every single time that I go live on TikTok, because I'm not TikTok, on Clubhouse, because I'm going to do different rooms for different things, I will schedule it and you'll get a notification that an event of mine is coming up on Clubhouse. So you can do that there. And do I still do tarot readings? Yes, I do. You can book a reading with me using the links in my description. And other than that, you guys, I love you so, so much. Thank you for hanging out with me and chit-chatting with me. I haven't seen any more of Alondra's comments, so I'm hoping that she's good. If anybody wants to work with me, you DM me, schedule some stuff. You can sign on to my current breakthrough package right now. I'm working on my more long-term containers, but you can sign on to a breakthrough package using the link in the description below. I love y'all, and I will see you next week. Goodbye. You too.